Hi, welcome to Friday's Fireside Chat. It's good to be with you once again. It's good to be with Judy Zarubik, who's on the other end of this recording, making sure all the tech works. And it's with huge appreciation that I say that. I know I say it every time, but boy, oh boy, there's no way I could make this happen all by myself. I would need an extra couple arms, I think, and maybe a secondary brain of some sort. Although if you've been outside today, you've noticed that it's getting nicer outside. Cottagers and campers are returning to town. Boats have reappeared in the harbor. Beaches beckon as the province begins to open up a little more. Now that we are allowed to create our own bubbles for up to as many as 10 people, for some, there are unanticipated implications. And if you don't have another 9 people to make friends with, then, oh well. Meanwhile, out in the countryside, trying to make sure they don't offend anyone, some farmers are acting on that worry. I know, it's a terrible pun. However, cats, oblivious as usual, have other independent ideas. Feeling free, some turtles decided to try out a dirty dancing move. Of course, there are still many punsters continuing to cook up a storm. I must admit, even I took a little while to get this one with the Worcestershire. Anyway. For the rest of us, we venture into grocery stores, drugstores, and convenience stores, dutifully wearing our masks. Others of us, Star Trek: The Next Generation cast or not, are just getting really, really silly due to staying inside. All that silliness and all that punning creates a different slant. In fact, like COVID-19, puns seem to be contagious. This in particular is for you, Rod Coates. While our church building will be closed until at least September, permission from the province to open up creates different perspectives. Speaking of the church building being closed, many of us yearn to be able to see one another in person without having to set up a Zoom call to see each other, without having to arrange for distance visits outside, or without having to call on the phone. Now, certainly our volunteer pastoral visitors strengthen wonderful connections through our caring phone tree. It's a powerful way to say to one another, in the words of Carole King, when you're down and troubled and you need some love and care and nothing is going right, just call out my name and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Or at least that person is available at a distance. Even so, we currently need friends and people who care, because that loving contact brightens up even our darkest night. We depend on each other as a family of faith, and that is why we long to see one another again in person. So let's watch a video featuring the cast of the Carole King Broadway musical biography as they sing her song, "You've Got a Friend."
Take 62. No. Here we go. Please hold.
2, 3, 4. trouble, and it needs a love and care, and nothing, oh, nothing is going right. It's right. Close your eyes and think of me. Soon I will be there to brighten up even the darkest night. You just call my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you need to do is call, and I'll be there. You've got a friend. You've got a friend. Now ain't it good to know that you got a friend when people can be so cold? They'll hurt you and then desert you and take your soul if you let them. But don't you let them. They will hurt you, desert you, and leave you cold. Don't you let them. Ain't it good to know you got a friend? Don't you let them. No, 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 no. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running, 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 running to see you again, to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you need to do is call, and I'll be there. I won't hurt you, desert you, or leave you. I'll be there. Ain't it good to know you got a friend? I'll never desert you. I'll never desert you. I'll never leave you. 'Cause you ain't good to know you got a friend. You've got a friend.
You got a friend. You got a friend. You got a friend. Do you got a friend?
No, you got a friend.
You got a friend.
No, you.
Do they got a friend? They got a friend.
You got a friend.
Who knew that you would have a topless video on the Friday Fireside chat? Yeah, always funny when moms think that boys are going to behave. This Sunday is Father's Day, but it is also the Indigenous Day of Prayer. And we are connected with our neighbors and friends at Cape Croker United Church and on the First Nation of Cape Croker. In honor of our growing and deepening relationship, I want to explore the teaching on respect from the 7 grandfather teachings in the Ojibwe tradition. After all, there is much that is congruent between the spiritual teaching of our Indigenous neighbors and the way of Jesus that we are called to follow. We learn from our friends in such relationships of sharing by intentionally exploring the spiritual roots of each tradition. We gradually step toward reconciliation through our understanding. We learn respect for one another. First of all, respect in the 7 grandfather teachings is represented by the buffalo. The grandfathers teach that the buffalo lives in the world through self-giving, the same kind of self-giving that Jesus taught, lived, and for which he died. No one has more value than another. Instead, respect ensures balance between our needs and the needs of others. That respect honors all of creation, not just the part we think we control. Balance centers all living things through our actions and by our learning. Balance requires us to be mindful of all living things, to not waste and to turn away from consumerism just for the sake of having stuff. Indeed, balance is found through sharing, not hoarding, through giving, not taking. The buffalo reminds us of the golden rule that we treat others as we would like to be treated. Like the Hippocratic oath of the medical profession, we choose to do no harm, neither to ourselves nor to others. That balance through respect is never easy. It takes work. It must be intentional and consistent. In fact, showing respect to others also means that we show respect for ourselves. When I think about balance, I think about the prospect of opening up the church building now that the provincial government has given us permission to do so, as long as we keep to no more than 30% of our capacity while following appropriate health protocols. As I think about balance, our small group, which is discerning what to do about opening the church building, must weigh the yearning of many to return to in-person worship, to socializing, to meetings, to studies, and to small groups. All of that must be balanced with our imperative to protect the most vulnerable among us. Discerning what to do is not an easy journey of discovery. In our struggle of discernment, I lean on the words of the hymn, "Be Thou My Vision." We need the best that God offers creatively within us. We need calm in the push and pull of this exploration, and we need God's ever-present guidance. We need the dignity of a community of faith that cares lovingly for one another. Like the buffalo, we don't need riches or empty praise. We need balance. In the end, our recommendation will go to the council bathed in the grace of God, sustained by the movement of the Spirit, and encouraged through the companionship of the risen Christ. The hymn title says all that we ask of God, "Be Thou my vision." It becomes our prayer and our blessing. So as I say farewell to you until our next fireside chat, let me leave you with this video of the Irish blessing. Now, it is a collaboration between over 300 churches and Christian organizations in Ireland, coming together where once there were the Troubles, basically war between religious perspectives. It starts with the hymn, "Be Thou My Vision," and ends with some traditional Celtic blessings. May this video and the words the people sing on it be both our prayer and our blessing. May it provide the ground on which we continue to respect one another and the world when we find balance.
save the Thou my best by day or by night, waking or sleeping, Thy presence my life. Christ be with you. Christ within you. Christ behind you. Christ before you. Christ beside you. Christ to hear you. Christ to comfort and restore you. Christ beneath you.
go mami an tíirna hu, agus go gudi sé hu.
The Lord met the licht of his face, and the goodness of his heart to be brecht upon you.
The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace.
The Lord bless you
And keep you,
The Lord make his face
to shine upon you
and be gracious to you.
The Lord lift up his countenance upon you
and give you peace.
يباركك الرب ويحرسك.
Niech cię Pan błogosławi i strzeże.
Baka salumineze fața lui peste
Vychoneka.
Jehova, tirumukham ninda mele uyarti, ninaka samadhi.
Kosi fuini alafia.
As we go from this place, Christ be with you until next time. Amen.